for the Platinum owners out there who are all too familiar with the rear seat entertainment options that are on the back of the front console. There's not really a lot of space to add any charging ports, and if you're like us, we have to resort to these super long cables from either the inside port of the center console or from the front of the vehicle, especially if you have more than one device that needs to be charged. Of course, you could get a little strip, put a strip down here, and then everybody can plug in a regular 120 volt charger. But I don't want to do that. Number one, it's just too busy down here. Cords come through here, and people obviously trip on the cords, break stuff. So I don't really want them having to deal with any of this stuff. So my plan today is to install USB quick charge ports here on both sides. I'm basically going to go on either side of the center console. They're out of the way. The seat has a full range of travel back and forth without any interference with that, because it's going to be a flush mount. And if the cables don't work straight out, then I can get right angle adapters so that they'll either point back or toward the front. Anyway, so we're going to put one on this side, one on the other side. It's very easy to get into this. You basically just pop this whole cup holder switch panel up. It's a whole unit by itself. And then I'll disconnect the switches, set that to the side, get a hole saw, come right in here on both sides, and then I'm going to tap into the seat heater switches. All right, just get you a hard plastic trim tool. Just pry up here, and then as soon as you get that pried up enough, you can get your fingers under there, and then just gently pull up, and that whole thing will come out like so. And then you can just flip it over and disconnect the two switches. This little clip, pull straight out, and there's your clip. Same thing on the other side, clippy clip. Actually, just push that whole switch through. But anyway, you get the gist of it. Then you can set that aside. You'll take this cable stay clip off, and then you will see how deep that cavity is. So it's going to go right in here on the side, and then the wiring can come up. I'll route that somehow and tie into the seat heater switch, and then we'll have power. All right, switches are disconnected, and then you can just basically pry backwards or forward. Probably easier to go back on that little white clip, and that'll pop out, and that whole thing is out. And now it's just a matter of hole saw right on in, and then just route wiring. Obviously the wires are going to be like this, facing up, so I should be able to tap into those without interfering with that cup holder being put back in. There's how the wiring is. If you ever wanted to take this whole console out, once you do that, you've got these two 10mm bolts, one down there, one down there, to fold it to the front. Take out the tray. So you got your cargo, and then when you lift up on this, you got those two right there. So you take those two and the front two, and yeah, you're ready to go. And then I think there's some other yeah, you probably have to disconnect this wiring, because the wiring obviously stays. All right, so for these USB ports that I bought, they need to be 1¼ inch diameter hole to allow those to go in. So this is the kit I bought. It's basically a 2-pack of these quick charge 3.0 ports, and it does have an on-off switch, even though I'm going to be wiring it into a switched harness. You do have the option, if you wanted to have them on all the time, have the on-off button. So anyway, yep, so that's where we're drilling, right there on the side, on both sides. Alright, that was easy enough. So just drill straight through, clean up the plastic as well as you can. Doesn't have to be perfect. And then test fit. Bingo. That's going to be perfect. Alright, once the holes are drilled, you may have to come back in, and I'm going to use some snips and cut off these ribs inside here and get that flush. So when I put on the tightening ring, it'll obviously go flush with the back of this. So that's one extra thing you have to do. So I just use little snips and break those off. You could also use a Dremel and Dremel them down. So I'm going to do that on both sides too. Alright, so I got the first charging port installed, and the housings on these are aluminum, which is one reason I went with this particular kit. And they're just a little bit deeper than I thought, so what I had to do is just gently bend the contacts for the positive and negative, and once I bent those just a little bit, it doesn't interfere with it at all. So I forgot about these little spacers that come with the kit. So I'm going to go ahead and mount those. That'll give it a little bit more rigidity, and I can mount it vertically or horizontally, whatever's going to be easier. It'll just be an extra, gosh, it's probably not even 1/8 of an inch out, but it might actually help those sit in there a little bit better, so I don't have to bend them on the other side. We'll see. But I'm going to go ahead and put that on there. Alright, that looks better. That'll give it a nice bit of rigidity. And the screws clear. Plenty of clearance there. So now we get to do the same on the other side. Alright, so today I'm finishing up the power ports back here in the second row on the Platinum. Basically, recap is I mounted them here, came inside, and basically just drilled, I believe it was a 1 1/4 inch hole, and then dremeled the inside so I could get the ring, the tightening ring, on there without hitting these protrusions down here. So I just cut all those out and then dremeled that out so it'd be a flat surface, and then mounted the port on the outside. And then to tap in for power, these are the seat heater switches, and going off the TechStream wiring diagram for these switches, basically pin 4 is your ground, which is denoted with E, and then the ignition is pin number 7. And of course this is a switched power source, so when the key's off, those are not on, and I like doing that by design. So if you wanted to, you could run cables directly to the battery, or you could find a fuse in the interior fuse box that is always hot. So up to you. I chose to go this route, and of course I use T-taps. I have no problems with it. I've been using them for years. As long as they're secure, you're not going to have any issues. Some people frown on them, but it is what it is. Anyway, so tapped off of those. Basically the sky blue is the ignition, and the white with black tracer is the ground. So positive, negative, tap those in. Key is on, and we have power. So got two ports. Let's see if I can zoom in here so you can see that. Basically got two quick charge 3.0 ports, and so yeah, it's gonna work out pretty well. And it does have its own on-off button, but when the key's off, they're gonna be off. So pretty easy. Now to do the other side and then button everything up. Pretty straightforward. And I got the other side mounted up and wired. So got same thing over here. The negative is the white with black tracer, and the positive is the sky blue. This is pin 4 for negative, pin 7 for positive, I believe. And I've got the vehicle running now, so we should have a full 13.8. Got the on-off button, and of course it's on the ignition switch of the seat heaters, so once the vehicle's off, it doesn't matter, those ports are coming off anyway, so I'll run down the battery. So pretty straightforward. Just zip tie to the harness and put the cup holder piece back in place and call this project done.